Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you are watching this. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Dr. Lene Javette, your host for today. And we have a very exciting topic because everyone wants to make $1 million. I know I do. If you're in the chat, raise your hand, say you too, if you want to make $1 million. Today, we're going to be talking about the mindset, the strategies, and the assets that you need to get there. Okay. Joining me are some very powerful co-queens who will share their invaluable expertise as well. Today we have Madonna Brown, who is a licensed financial strategist. And we have Dr. Alicia, who is a couples coach as well as a therapist. And so we're going to be, and let me go back to Madonna. She does financial, and she's going to be talking about real estate too. So she has a multifaceted resume. So she's going to be on double duty today talking to us about this $1 million. And so before we get started though, one of the things around making $1 million that's, I would say, probably one of the most important things is the mindset. So it's not so much the strategy that's created. It's not somebody that lays out the plan for you. It's the concept and the idea of the fact that you can actually make $1 million. Now, this $1 million, what we're talking about today, it doesn't necessarily have to be in 1 year. It could be over a couple of years, but it's just the concept, the ideology of making $1 million. And because I believe it starts in the mind, we're going to start with Dr. Alicia. What kind of a mindset does it take to actually conceptualize, visualize, come to terms with the concept and the idea of making $1 million?
Oh, that's such a great question. It's like, oh wait, I hear some background. What's that noise? Okay, yeah. So Lene, thank you for asking that question. I think that there's an abundance mindset, right? Everyone talks about abundance mindset. And I think no matter where you are and what your financial history, you can always change that mindset into something positive. So when I work with a lot of my clients, we do talk about what is your relationship with money. Is it from a scarcity mindset where you're fearful and you feel like no matter how much money I have in the bank, I'm always worried that I'm not going to have enough, but where's the evidence of it? Or it could be that, or it could be just your ideas about spending. It could be that you could go right into scarcity, which even you are hesitant on making purchases, hesitant on investing your money, hesitant on doing things that you know logically you should be doing with your money. Or it could be overspending. You could take money and you could just say, okay, I want this, I want that, I want this, and you can overspend. And at the end of the day, when the credit card bills come, you can say, oh my goodness, why did I spend so much money? So sometimes this impulsivity and reaction to money has an impact on how you spend. So yeah, definitely this sort of abundance mindset and depends on your relationship with money. And I work with a lot of people on how to get down to some of the things that impacts how we view money and how we spend money.
That's good. Madonna, I'll pose that same question to you because you're dealing with people with their money. Like you have to actually create a financial strategy for someone. So you're having to lay out what they can spend, what they can't spend, how they should spend it, when they should spend it. And I know that could be trying. What do you see with individuals who say that they want to have money or they want to have a wealth strategy? What are some of the trials and tribulations that you see, or what is the fight that you're experiencing with people who say, I want to make money, or I want to have money, or I want to get to $1 million?
In our community, believe it or not, the fight is the trauma that a lot of Black people have seen either their parents, depending on their age, their parents or grandparents, and that experience that they saw them have with the insurance person who, I'm sorry, but depending on where you were, it was a white man who came into the neighborhood, your whoever, parent or grandparent, your relative, let me say, gave that person whatever their policy was. And then when that relative died, either there was no insurance money or there was maybe $200, but your relative paid years into that policy. So there's a trauma that has to, and a mistrust that has to overcome. And it still lingers today because I had a young woman back in October in her 20s. We were talking about protecting herself, but then she went back to, oh, my grandmother. So you have to get over that fear of what insurance was, because insurance is not what it used to be. Insurance in this day and age, you can advance your death benefit tax-free and use that money however you want to use it. So again, getting over what might have happened to a relative and moving on from that. It's so important that you're able to move on from that.
In business, I see it in from the perspective of, when you're an entrepreneur, everybody wants to get to 7 figures. Everybody wants to make $1 million when you're an entrepreneur or when you first start your business. Like, that's the reason why we become a business owner. And so from a strategic standpoint, writing out what it looks like and what it takes to make $1 million, I have found is very difficult for people. But I think it's the same, write the vision, make it plain. It doesn't really matter what it is. If you have a vision for your life, if you have a vision for your business, if you have a vision for your career, for your children, for your marriage, we often struggle with writing it in a big way. We don't often say the big things that we really want. I really want $1 million. I really want 5 million. I really want to get this promotion. I really want to do whatever the thing is. And some of that, to what both of you guys have said, is tied to the trauma. Certain things didn't happen for me in the past. I didn't make a certain type of money. I didn't get the promotion. The marriage didn't work. The business partner didn't work. And so when it comes time to sit down and say, I have this big vision, I have this big idea, I want to create this strategy to get to $1 million, we play small. And so we don't do it, right? Dr. Alicia, what are some effective methods for healing financial traumas to create a more healthy money mindset? You're on mute.
I want to address something that you just said that I think it was wonderful. Number one, I love this big idea, the big picture idea. And let me tell you what I do to kind of incorporate those big ideas into my life. I write out, it could be like 4 or 5 goals that I have for myself. It can be financial, but it can also be other areas of your life. I mean, it's making $1 million is a mindset. And to have that abundance mindset, you need to have abundance in your life in all different ways, so wealth is not just how much is in your bank account. So number one, I'll give you a technique that I do with this big idea. All of my big ideas, I record myself saying them with nice soft music in the background, and I say it over and over again and repeat. So when I go running, when I'm doing like cleaning the house or doing the dishes, I play them on my headphones over and over again. When I'm sleeping, I play them over and over again. And guess what? Sometimes things just fall right in your lap, because it's like the law of attraction. I mean, y'all know about this. I mean, it worked for Oprah Winfrey, so it's got to work for the rest of us. Ain't nothing that special about Oprah. We could be in our own, whatever you believe about Oprah aside, she's successful. She has abundance, and follow what she does. She gave you the plan in all of her talk shows, right? So incorporate that into your life. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is that celebrate all of your successes. Sometimes there's always going to be some setbacks. There's always going to be things that happen to you financially and otherwise that's less than ideal. Yes, recognize those things, but also any place in your life where there's success, where you're going towards your goal. You're not at $1 million yet, but you're getting there. Pay attention to those things. Have gratitude and appreciation for what comes your way, for the people who come into your life that helps you along the way. We all live in our hero's journey, right? And in the hero's journey, you have helpers along the way to get you where you need to be. Acknowledge that, have that for gratitude and appreciation. So that's the second thing that I wanted to say. So the third thing I wanted to say in terms of trauma. Listen, life does not guarantee that things will go your way. You're always going to have bad things happen to you. It's what you agreed to when you came here on earth to be born. Bad things will happen to you, but it doesn't have to be traumatic. The trauma happens when you don't have a nice, safe space to process that trauma, to process things that have happened to you. But as soon as you have a place where you can process and talk about your thoughts and feelings, it's not trauma. So I think that people throw the word trauma out because something happens that you don't like and they think, oh, that's traumatic. Well, it doesn't have to be, because you can have a place, such as my co-host here, any one of us can help you process all of these things that have happened to you that was less than ideal. So anyway, Lene, I hope that answers your question.
It did, and it answered it good. And when I heard your phone go ding, or somebody's phone go ding, I realized my laptop was about to die. And so I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and put it on the charger real quick before I reset, and just say thank you so much to everybody that's in the room. Thank you for joining us on today. This is Fly Nubian Money. If you like what the Queens are saying and you want to continue to watch us on a daily basis, you can text the word Queens to 87948. It says to receive your book, but I'm not sure if you're going to actually get a book today. That's Queens to 87948. That way you can be notified whenever we are going live, which is Monday through Friday. I believe it is 1 o'clock Eastern. Somebody correct me if I am wrong. But thank you so much for being here with us today. We are talking about how to make your first $1 million from scratch. All right. So I apologize if you guys hear my little show notes right here. So you might hear a little flapping of the paper in the background, but we're going to act like we don't hear that. So before I want to transition into actually the investing part of making the $1 million, because we kind of talked about the mindset, which is the most important part. And it's the first piece, the ability to say, I'm going to make $1 million. And notice I said, I'm going to make $1 million, not I want to make $1 million. I am going to make $1 million. And then be strategic in what does that look like, right? Is that you have to understand the first $10,000 that you're going to make. You have to understand that you got to make $100,000 then before you can get to $1 million. So let me ask how to make, okay. So I see a fly on the screen. There you go. So let me ask Madonna, what was it like when you made your first $10,000? And then what was it like when you made your first $100,000? Was there a difference? Did it feel different? Was the strategy different? Was the mindset different? How did your first $10,000 feel versus your first $100,000?
Well, it is a progression. But yeah, when you hit that first 10,000, and depending on where you come from, it's like, that's the pinnacle. But then by the time you hit your first 100,000, then you have a strategy that you can follow. Now, it's a strategy that keeps growing because nothing stagnant helps you continue to grow. So you have to keep learning, training, referrals from people, working the business. So once you get there, it's a big jump from that 10,000 to that 100,000, but it's because you're continually growing. And don't ever think once you hit that point, okay, I'm there now. Okay, so I'm done. No, you're never done. You have others to teach. You have to keep yourself going. And so it's just a progression. It's never, and I'm not talking about greed. I'm not talking about greed, but it's a progression. And when you want to see yourself help more people, and helping more people brings you more money, you're enjoying what you're doing, then it's just a wheel that keeps turning.
I remember when I made my first $100,000 in a year, not 100. I remember when I crossed the 6-figure line. Let me say that because it was more than 100,000. And I was doing my taxes and I was looking, I was like, oh my God, it was like $176,000, something like that. The first thing I did was call my mom and was like, how much money do you make a year? That was the first thing I did. Let me tell you how much money I made this last year. And At that point in time, I had not made more than her just yet. So she was like, oh yeah, I make more than that. But now I make multiple six figures. And so I do get to make more money than her. I'm on my way to, so I have made over seven figures in totality. This particular year, I will probably, most likely, we will see cross the seven figures in a full year. And so I'm super geeked and excited about that. But there's multiple ways to do this, right? Some of it is strategy, some of it is business, some of it is real estate, some of it is insurance. Sometimes it's with your significant other. It's the person that you're with. You don't have to make $1 million by yourself, right? So it could be the mindset, but it also can be some of the work that you are doing in your business, right? I'm going to throw this back to Madonna really quickly. As with the real estate background, as well as insurance and the taxes, I think you talked about, what would you say is one of the better ways, or I hate to use the word quickest when we're talking about money because it makes it sound like it's a gimmick or it's fast, but so let's say one of the better ways or one of the most successful ways to get to $1 million?
I don't know if I would call it successful or whatever, but knowing what I know from both fields, the basis should always be insurance. Insurance can protect your income. When you have a policy that is properly structured and funded, that is your bank. You can use your insurance policy if you have an index universal life that is properly structured and funded. That is your bank. And you can use that bank to buy your real estate. Why are you going to pay an interest rate of a loan from a bank of 16% or above when if you have, again, I keep saying it must be properly structured and funded. If you have a properly structured and funded index universal life, you are borrowing from yourself. You're paying a certain interest for borrowing your money, but you're also earning interest on that money that you've borrowed because it's still there. So it's a wash. When I say it's a wash, I mean you're not paying anything. So your first million, and I was speaking about the index universal life, but believe it or not, you can have your first million in this lifetime if you have a term living benefit that has a death benefit of over $1 million. Now, with a term living benefit, you have to have a chronic, critical, or terminal illness, a critical injury, or Alzheimer's. And if you qualify financially and health-wise to have a term living benefits policy, should anything happen to you, a medical professional, and it's only a medical professional dealing with your personal case, will notify the insurance company, and you will be advanced tax-free because you've already paid your taxes on that. You will be advanced tax-free up to 90% of your death benefit that you do not have to pay back. They do not tell you what to do with that money, and you can do whatever you want. So obviously, your death benefit has to be over $1 million for you to have to get to that 1 million, because they always leave something behind in case you die within that term, and your family can use that to bury you. So that's why I say you can't just have a $1 million death benefit, because you won't get that 4 million. But say you have a 1.2 or 1.5, because each policy goes up to 2 million. You can have as many policies as you want, but each policy goes up to 2 million. So should you have one of those injuries or illnesses and they advance you, you're having money that you can do whatever you want with tax-free. So that's literally how you can get it within this lifetime.
That's good. That's a good word for any. So whether you are a business owner, entrepreneur, you go to work every day, you too can have $1 million direct through insurance. Now, I'm going to ask Dr. Alicia, because I believe, and you can say what you say, but you believe, we have a difficult time talking about life insurance and death and money, right? My mom has multiple insurance policies for me and my sisters. And her reasoning is if something were to happen to her and she was taken out soon, she wants to make sure that we are taken care of, that her grandchildren are taken care of. She has stuff put into a trust to make sure that all of the kids' college is paid for. And so she's thinking about her legacy and the wealth that happens afterwards. But we know, we see all too well celebrities and different people who pass away, and the finances, their wealth is either dispersed or it's eaten up or it's dried up, or people are fighting about it because they didn't have these conversations about wealth. How can people approach their loved ones to talk about succession planning or wealth or legacy, or what they should do about their money, or even just life insurance policies, because they want to be thinking about the wealth that's going to come for generations to come?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an emotionally charged discussion, and it's something that you have to explain to people who are shy from talking about it. They think that it's because they talk about planning for their death is going to somehow bring about their death. So there's thoughts and ideas around those things, and you can easily just educate people on, look at what happened to Prince and look at what happened to all these people. I don't want this happening for us and for our family. Let's all make sure that we know what's going on. And I love what Madonna shared earlier, because when you know better, you do better. And there's a lot of people, because they may feel anxious, they don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I want to have to deal with about it because I'm scared and I'm nervous about that. Or there are people who don't want to talk about it because they just want to avoid it altogether. They just don't want to have these conversations. And I think the best gift all of us can do to our family members, all of us, is to have a plan in place where the message is conveyed to everybody. Every important person in your life should know what your plan is, because we don't want the chaos to happen. Inevitably, we know that everybody's going to die, right? We know that we're all going to not be here today, and you want to do the best for your family. And I know it can be difficult, but it's important on a yearly basis and sometimes on a monthly basis to make sure that you're clearly communicating with your family about your wishes. Absolutely. Great question, Lene.
Well, I try to have a great question every now and then. So
may I add one thing to what Dr.
Yes.
Alicia said about
Yes.
fear, etc.? You're so correct. I did a policy once for someone with a mother for her son. Do you know when the husband found out, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get my son killed and get the money? So yes, education is so important.
I like that. I like that. Let's go ahead and reset the room really quickly. Thank you so much. If you are here, you are joining us today for this conversation, how to make your first $1 million from scratch. This is Fly Nubian Money. And if you text Queens to 87948, you will be subscribed to the channel. You will be notified whenever we go live, which is Monday through Friday, 1:00 p.m. Eastern. Again, that is Queens, Queens, to 87948. Today, I am joined by Madonna and Dr. Alicia Watkins. I am Dr. Lene Javette. We're talking about how to make your first $1 million from scratch. So I'm going to talk about it from the perspective of business, because 7 figures is like the quan. It's like the golden ticket. It's what everybody wants to get to. Most people want to get to, I'll say. I have talked to people who are like, if I could just make 6 figures, I'm good. 6 figures is nothing. 6 figures is nothing. And when I say when I say 6 figures is nothing, I'm talking about the people who say, I just want to get to 6 figures. $100,000 goes fast. $300,000 goes fast. 500,000, you kind of chilling. You chilling up about 500,000. You're doing good. So 6 figures, like when you get to that middle 6 figures range, headed towards the 7 figures, you're doing pretty good. But that first 100 comes and goes fast. Let me say that. So what I wanted to talk to you about is, what does $1 million really look like? And how can I make it as a business owner? So I'm going to tell this to you. I'm looking at my screen, but I'm going to say it to you guys, unless they can get it on the screen or unless I can share my screen. But here it is. If you sell a $200 product, to 5,000 people, you can make $1 million. If you sell a $500 product to 2,000 people, you can make $1 million. If you sell a $1,000 product to 1,000 people, you can make $1 million. If you sell a $2,000 product to 500 people, $1 million. If you sell a 4,000 product to 250 people, $1 million. $1 million is not out of reach. It's not out of reach. It's very realistic. Okay. So, Dr. Alicia, you talked earlier about abundance. And although you're a couples coach, you deal with entrepreneurs and you're in the entrepreneur space and whatnot. What specifically to entrepreneurs now? What is the mindset that you either see or the questions that you are asked around financial mindset and wellness for entrepreneurs who are in pursuit of $1 million?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say I love your breakdown, Dr. Lene. It simplifies this whole process. Why does it have to be so complicated? Just focus on those things. And one thing that I talk to, I have a lot of couples I work with who are entrepreneurs, and believe it or not, turning that off, the relationship part off, so that they can work on business, it's very complex. But at the same time, it could be such an explosive thing. It could be a really good connection emotionally, psychologically. It just brings people together, even physically, more so than going to two different places of employment and living in two different worlds and having to share with each other. It makes it complex, but in success, it could really, really create a wonderful bonding experience, not only for the couple, but also for the family. And one thing that I do talk to individuals and couples about is when Madonna was talking about getting good and having fun. You really do need to get good at your craft and learning about things in interesting, innovative ways and bring that to each other. If there's an atmosphere of acceptance and love and warmth, there's going to be abundance even in that. And it's okay to make a mistake. You make mistakes and you're like, oh my God, what happened? I messed it up. Not blaming each other and putting each other down. It's just like, oh my goodness, what can we do better going forward, having learned from our past mistakes? So taking the shame out of everything and taking the pointing the fingers and having sort of like a positive synergy in businesses, I think helps to create success.
I like that. Madonna, from the financial perspective, right? We're thinking about business owners, we're thinking about entrepreneurs, when we're talking about making $1 million. How does insurance protect us? So I, being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, I have insurance policies. I ain't gonna talk about my dollars in case somebody see me on the street and try to take me out, but I have insurance policies. What type of insurance should a business owner be looking at to protect themselves and their families?
Very good question, Dr. Lene. Very good. There are several. One is an executive, and let me just say, everything that I'm talking about, I don't charge my clients anything. I am compensated by the insurance carriers. So I don't charge anything. But every business needs a few things. An executive bonus plans. What does that do? If the business owner ever gets sick or whatever happens to that business owner, that executive bonus plan will continue paying that business owner. In that sense, the business owner can keep the business running. Also, possibly key person insurance. What is that? Say that that business owner has one or two or however many people who are so vital to the business, but because they're really good at what they do, they have people, hey, listen, I can pay you more. This is better. This is that. Key person insurance is a policy that helps those key people or person have a tax-free retirement, and something, should they pass away, goes to the spouse. Buy-sell agreement. If there are partners in a business, should something happen to one partner, instead of that business going to a spouse, maybe that spouse doesn't like the business, doesn't like a partner, whatever. So instead, that buy-sell agreement ensures that that business goes right back to the partners. The spouse has no part of it, but they can still get the death benefit. So there are so many ways that a business can protect itself, and some are afraid because they're thinking, "Oh God, this is going to cost me 5,000, 10,000, whatever." It doesn't when it's based in insurance. And also, one lastly, you can have a business that instead of setting up their employees with 401ks, they can set their employees up with index universal life, which will be instead of a tax deferred retirement.
All right, there you go. You were breaking up there a little bit at the end. Cool. So I'm gonna circle back to business. A minute ago, I kind of broke down the differences between the types of products that you can have, rather how much you can sell these different products for, right? But since the name of our conversation is how to make your first $1 million from scratch, I'm going to also give you some how, right? So of course, there's products. If there is something that you use, so let me rephrase it. How would be, of course, starting a business. And a lot of times the people will ask me, well, what kind of a business should I start? Great question. Start a business based on a talent that you have, a knowledge that you have, or something that you already use on a regular basis. Because if you're using it on a regular basis, it will be easy for you to sell. If you have a passion for earrings and you are knowledgeable about earrings, start an earring business. It's something that you do already. It's something that you can integrate into your lifestyle. If you are fashion forward, start a fashion business or start blogging about doing fashion. If you love therapy and you love couples, Dr. Alicia is a couples coach. She is taking what she's good at, what she's knowledgeable in, what she has a passion for. She's found a way to profit from it. I always say people start a business for one of three things. And if you're lucky, you get to do all three. And that's passion, purpose, and profit. People start a business that they are passionate about, but sometimes you can't make money from passion. If you love the whales, you got to figure out how to make money from the whales. If you love to talk, you got to learn how to make money to talk. So passion is cool, but it doesn't always make you money, right? The second one is purpose. There should be a purpose in what you do. Dr. Alicia, there is a purpose behind couples coaching. People want to love better. They want to feel more connected in their relationship. So they will pay her to do that. Life insurance. People want to feel secure when they pass away. So there's a purpose for that. And then the third one is profit. Some people don't care about what they do and if there's money in it, right? So if you can find an industry that is profitable, then get into that industry. So I always say, if you can do all three, you're lucky. I am passionate about being an entrepreneur and helping other Black people be entrepreneurs. There is a purpose because we are stereotyped as having negative businesses, and I get to make a profit because I get to charge for what I do. So ultimately, how to make your first $1 million from scratch come from creating a business that you're passionate about, that has a purpose, and you can profit from it. Dr. Alicia, tell us about how you created your business out of your passion and its purpose and how you profit from it.
Yeah, you know what? I thank you for that question because God, from as far back as I can remember, I have always wanted to be a college professor and a therapist. I guess I'm one of those fortunate people that didn't have to go through this long process of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Now, some of it I came by just an honest way of coming about because that was the environment in which I grew up with. I'm a second generation therapist and college professor. So it was the environment in which I was raised. It had a big impact on me, but it was just beautiful to see and to be able to cultivate my love for learning. I love to read books. I am always interested in learning new things. I'm always interested in figuring out why people do what they do. And so in that process, I learned about you can become a therapist. Oh my goodness, you can actually get paid. I can't believe I get paid to do things that I would do honestly for free. I can't believe that I'm in this position. So I'm very thrilled every day when I wake up in the morning that I'm doing the things that I'm doing every single day, educating the next generation of therapists. I'm involved in training people on how to become a therapist at my university and actually giving back, particularly to the Black community. What a wonderful thing to live through the 80s during the crack epidemic. I saw families fall all around me, and being a second generation healer, it's so great to be in a position where I can heal, because we're still impacted by these things. Even though it didn't happen in my family, I saw it. That's my background. I'm affected by everything that happens in the Black community. So it's just, I wake up every day and I'm just thrilled. And sometimes I look at my checking account and I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Wow, it's happened, but I'm so focused on what I want to do that the millions come. They will come, or they have come. I have to speak about it in the present tense.
I like that. Actually, I'm going to give you that question too, Madonna. How did you turn your passion for either real estate and or insurance into something that you could profit from?
Unlike Dr. Alicia, I came to it in a roundabout way. I started off, in corporate America. I always worked around money, but never learned money. But while I was there, I knew that wasn't for me, and I wanted to get out, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I left it after many years and became a mind-body specialist, but I still felt I was lacking. During the pandemic, I ran into an old girlfriend who introduced me to the business. And at first I said no, but when she shared an article that Black Americans were 228 years behind the wealth gap of white Americans, something clicked literally in that moment. And I found my passion. And I'm looking at the purpose was, I've got to help my people. I help all people, but I've got to show my people we can do the exact same thing that those kids you grew up with who had trust funds. You can have the exact same thing. You can have the exact same thing. And just by helping people, I'm profitable. And I can see everyone because they're not paying me. So they don't have to be afraid to come and have a conversation. So, that's how, I wasn't as lucky as Dr. Alicia, but I finally came to it.
We all get there. We all get there. The same way that all of you that are watching have gotten here today for Fly Nubian Money. Today, we're talking about how to make your first $1 million from scratch. I am joined by Madonna, Dr. Alicia. I'm Dr. Lene Javette. Thank you for joining us. If you are enjoying today's conversation and you want to be tuned into more conversations like this, we do this every Monday through Friday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern. If you text the word Queens, QUEENS, to 87948, you will be subscribed and you will be notified whenever we go live. Again, that's Monday through Friday at 1:00 p.m. Text the word Queens to 87948. Awesome. So I will give a little brief story about my passion, purpose, profit. I kind of talked about it before, but it really is, when we start talking about making millions, like true millions, it comes because you stepped out on faith, like legit. I don't really, other than sports, entertainment, Hollywood, things of that nature, know of a job that you can get that's going to pay you millions outside of taking your own destiny into your own hands, right? I truly believe that each of us, and now let me say this, it doesn't mean you have to leave your job. You can have a side business, you can have a side hustle, or you can have a full-time business. But it is saying that I want to be in control of my destiny. I want to be in control of my fate. I'm not going to let my financial capabilities and or abilities be dictated by someone else, right? And then to that, I believe that all of us, especially as Black people, we're resilient. We have talents, we have skills, we have knowledge, we have abilities that nobody else has. And I believe that each one of us has something innately in us, in our gut, that says we need to do this. We need to start this business. We need to write this book. We need to help these people. We need to invest in this stock. We need to buy this real estate. There's something in each of us, some type of a burning desire in each of us that we are ignoring, we're not tapped into, we're afraid of, we're not sure if it's for us. We're looking at somebody else, we're side-eyeing them like, dang, that's what I wanted to do. But really, you have something that's in you to do. Dr. Alicia, what would you say to our audience as we're not ready to go, but we're starting to like power down? What would you say to our audience that has been watching this broadcast today and there's some type of a flutter like, dang, I might, maybe should lean into this thing I've been thinking about. I kind of think I should do it, but I'm still not sure. I think I have $1 million idea, but I don't really know. What would you say to them? You're muted.
If fear is the only thing keeping you from doing something, that's a signal that you should do it. If that's it, if you come up with all the different reasons why I have not yet stepped forward, and it all boils down to something fear-based, that is a signal that just go for it. Because if your logical mind, if you're able to eliminate logic, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. The opportunities now, you've gone through all the steps, and the only thing stopping you is, eeks, I don't know if I could do this. That's when you need to do it. And I really know that you're going to make a mistake. I think the mistakes is what kind of scares people from wanting to go ahead. Understand that you will make a beautiful mistake. It is not a setback. It is an opportunity. So you have to change the way you view mistakes. Just go for it. I mean, my very first video I did, I was like, I'm just going to go and say what I need to say and just be done, and it was clunky, and, it's still clunky to this day, but I have something inside of me that I want to express. And I don't care if 100 people see it or if one person sees it. I'm just here to live in my expression for whatever it is. And so hopefully that will inspire people to just go for it. And I know many people who will see that I have my own business, and they instantly will tell me stories about ideas they have in their mind. I'm like, go for it, do it, do a video, put your phone, open your phone, like people said to me, open your phone, just do something, and just and laugh at things. Like, it's really having this joyous kind of wonderful sense about yourself. And, I think that people do struggle with that, and man, so many people lie to you about who and what you are. You know who and what you are. And you have to consciously tell yourself, this person lied to me. Any negative thought that you have in your head that was given to you, because it was given to you by probably your parents or other people. I don't want to blame everything on the parents, but typically someone lied to you about something negative about yourself. That's not saying that you're perfect, but it's saying that you are a perfect person who makes mistakes. Your behavior and who you are as a person are two separate things. And that is what I do in my sessions, is try to get people to understand and to believe that you don't have to try to be perfect, because you already are, although you make mistakes along the way. So that's what I would have to say about just going for it and changing your mindset about making a mistake. You're not a mistake if you mess it up. It's okay.
I like that.
Mhm.
Donna, what would you tell any of our guests or our audience right now who says, you know what, I've been thinking about pursuing wealth or money or dollars by way of real estate or investments or stocks or insurance, but I'm not sure what to do. So it's not. So I guess the question I'm asking you is, what would you say to that person who's trying to figure out, like, not necessarily what the first step is, but more like around the mindset and or the knowledge that they need to make that type of a move or a decision to go down one of those routes?
Well, with life insurance or with insurance, you have to get licensed. So that's number one. But make sure it's what you want to do. No, I won't say I wasted, but the majority of my life was spent in getting paid, not having a passion. getting paid to pay my bills. I think younger people now more go towards what they want to do, not what you're told to do. So, really going back to what you said about 15 minutes ago, which is the passion, the purpose. And if you have that passion and that purpose, it will be profitable. But whether it's real estate or whether it's insurance, know that it's where you want to be and be ready to learn and train, get licensed, and it's a continual learning throughout your life.
I like
That's
that. What I would add to that is one of the things that I would say about making how to make your first $1 million is study, right? A lot of times we sit on the side and we look at other people make money, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I had that idea. I thought about that 2 years ago, and somebody else took action. Somebody else got on YouTube and watched the videos. Somebody else invested in a conference. Somebody else invested in a class. Somebody else got a coach. Somebody else took some courses at the Black Business School. Somebody else was watching Fly Nubian Money. Like they did the work to build a foundation and knowledge so that they can profit from their passion purposely. That is some of the keys to making your first $1 million. One, getting the knowledge and the information that's going to help you to be profitable. Two, getting around the right type of people, the people who are talking about money, the people who are talking about $1 million, and the people who are taking action to get $1 million.
That is so good, Dr. Lene, because I never understood why people hate on other people because they're successful. For in my life, I like to study successful people. When I see people successful in my space, I go, oh yes, let me see what they're doing, because it is inspiring to me. I get so inspired by other people's success. If another therapist comes up with a nice, beautiful product and they're having abundance around that product, I cheer for them and it inspires me. I'm like, oh God, that's a really good idea. I can incorporate some of these things into what I'm doing. There's enough for everybody. There's not a lack. There's enough for everybody to have what they need to have. And another thing that you mentioned is collaboration. I think that's where you were going. Like, find like-minded people that you can collaborate with so that everybody can win. You can come up with business deals and put one person's expertise can complement another person's expertise, and you have a really good product that you don't have to do this on your own. There's teams of people and individuals that will help you along the way. Remember your hero's journey. There's helpers along the way, and you have to be able to recognize those people and invite them into your life, and work together with people who will help you along, and you can help other people along their way too. Yeah.
I like that. And yet be open. Like, I forget the age old adage is, if you want to go far, go alone. Wait, what is it? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with other people. And being quick to get there is not always the best, but doing it with people, like-minded people, is a bonus. I always say, when I get to the top, my version of the top, because other people will say I'm there, but I'm not, right? When I get to the top and I look around, if I'm there by myself, I didn't do it right. I wasn't successful. And when I get there. So I see a question from our producer, which we'll answer before we get out of here. But let me just reset the room really quickly before we go. This is Fly Nubian Money. We're here every Monday through Friday at 1:00 p.m. I just heard my paper. I'm sorry, producer. At 1:00 p.m. Eastern. If you want to be subscribed to the channel, you want to be notified when the Queens are live, please text the word please text the word Queens to 87948. Again, that's 87948. If you text the word Queens, you will be subscribed, and you will always be connected and tuned in to know when we go live, which again is Monday through Friday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern. Today, I am joined by Madonna, as well as Dr. Alicia. I am Dr. Lene Javette, and we're talking about how to make your first $1 million from scratch. Something was asked in our chat about creating wealth online, which actually is a great question, and I'll leave you guys with this. There are multiple ways to have a business. There's multiple ways to generate wealth and or to start a business. Online is definitely one of them. It says people are using social media to make more money than ever. Can we talk about that? Building a brand, being consistent, knowing when to pivot, not quitting. What I will say is this. I specifically work with service-based entrepreneurs to brand their brilliance, or I'd like to say people who package and sell their expertise. Starting a business, and I swear I don't want to downplay it, but it's the easiest it's ever been. We're in a time where it is the easiest it's ever been. Literally, if there is something that you are good at, if there is something that you know, if there is something that you have experienced, if you are 3 steps ahead of anybody doing anything, you can start a business, right? And what I mean by that is if you were, and I'm just going to be real frank, if you were an alcoholic and you've been clean for more than 5 years, you can start a business helping other alcoholics stay clean for 5 years. If you have been through a tumultuous relationship and you fell off and you lost everything and you picked yourself up by the bootstraps and you built yourself back better and now you're an investor, you can start a business helping women who have fallen off in love to build back better. Like you can start a business doing almost anything, right? If you're passionate about it, if you know how to do it, if you can get results. Don't be out here selling people mud and it be dirt. Like if you can get somebody a result, if you can solve a problem, if you can heal their pain, if you can show them how to go from A to B, you can start a business. Again, don't be out here taking people's money if you can't get them a result. But business is easier than it's ever been. You can do it online. My business, I run from Phoenix, Arizona. I have clients as far as London. I've never met them in person. They've only seen me online. They've only heard me talk. The internet world opens business up to be global. You can be anywhere in the world and have a global business. T-shirts, mugs, coaching, products, merchandise, information, AI, technology, software as a service, resumes, podcasts, books, Amazon fulfillment. Literally, the path to $1 million is wide open. The path to 6 figures, wide open. The path to bettering your life, your financial status, your quality of life, your bank account, wide open. You just have to take a step. You just have to take action. You just have to step out and start doing that thing. As we get ready to close, I'm going to go around and ask the queens, what was the pivotal moment, step, or life situation that made you step out and decide to take your future, your destiny into your own hands and start your business? We'll start with you, Madonna.
Well, for this business, it was literally, like I said, the person who introduced me to life insurance. I was hesitant. But then when she showed me, there's an article about Blacks being 228 years behind the wealth gap of white Americans that lit a fire up under me because life insurance is the quickest and easiest way. So when I saw that and I was able to put the two together, I'm on a mission. I've got to help my people and I've got to share with them that it's not what, again, your parents and grandparents have. It's not the same experience. So it was seeing an article. It was seeing an article that pushed me to move forward.
I like that. Also, where can people reach you at, Madonna?
They can reach me either at my email. I'm on IG first. I am Madonna B on Instagram. They can always email me at madonnabfinancial or at calendly.com/Madonna Brown.
Awesome. Dr. Alicia, I'm going to pose that same question to you.
You know, Lene, you probably already know the answer because let me just tell y'all, it's working with Dr. Lene was so pivotal. Like the collaboration piece. Let me tell you something. I am clueless when it comes to business, when it comes to starting a business, LLC, absolutely clueless. Now, I got 20 years experience as a licensed therapist, so that piece I knew very well. So one thing I just want to just encourage everybody, embrace technology, embrace the internet, embrace social media. We all know social media is a very toxic place, not the nicest place for Black women, not the nicest place for Black people, but embrace it anyway because there's so much wonderful things that can happen for you on social media. Okay. So the only thing constant is change or whatever that is. The only thing that's going to be you can't, I don't know what the saying is, but change is always happening and you have to stay on top of technology. And it is wonderful to get a business coach like Dr. Lene and have somebody help cultivate, because when I launched my first course, all I did was I went for it. I had a lot of fear and a lot of apprehension. I just went for it and taught the course, and that was it. The bug hit me. The entrepreneurship bug hit me, and it hasn't left. I'm always excited about not only bringing new products, but really having an impact on people. And it was when I got feedback from individuals. They were like, Dr. Alicia, you really helped me. Dr. Alicia, I'm so happy that I learned this from you. And outside of the classroom in which I was teaching, it was nice to get other people that could appreciate all of the knowledge that I have. So yeah, you may look at your life and say, I don't know everything there is to know. There's holes in my knowledge about starting a business, and those things, shouldn't stop you. There's places, people, and things in place that can help you cultivate your business further. You're not supposed to know everything there is to know about starting a business, but you can lean on other people's expertise so that you can shine in your own expertise. So that's pivotal for me. And I just want everyone to keep in mind that you can reach out to people like Dr. Lene and to help you start your business and get all those questions answered.
Yes, let me say I enjoy working with you. You are always just amazing. So where can people find you at, Dr. Alicia?
Oh, okay. The best way to find me is on my website, coachingwithdralicia.com. If you're interested in working with me either on an individual basis or in terms of couples work, you can fill out the intake and I'll get in contact with you. If you want to follow me on social media, the best way to follow me is on Instagram, Coaching with Dr. Alicia.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. So I'll leave you guys with this. Our conversation was how to make your first $1 million from scratch. A, figure out what you have of value, what you know of value, or what you're passionate about. And B, pursue it. Figure out how to make money from it. And notice that could be a career, that could be a business. There is something that you have of value, something that you know of value, something that you've experienced that you can use to make money and profit from it. It might be a business, it might be a career, it might be investing, it might be real estate. We don't know what that is, but you know what that is. Take action on it, trust it, follow it. I am Dr. Lene Javette. You can find me on social media, preferably on Instagram at I am Dr. Lene Javette. This is Fly Nubian Money. You can catch us here every Monday through Friday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern. If you would like to be subscribed so that you always get notified when we are live, you can text the word Queens to 87948. Again, that's Queens to 87948. And we will see you here again tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. Eastern. I am Dr. Lene Javette with Madonna and Dr. Alicia. We wish you farewell, a great day, be blessed, and be one. Bye-bye.